Mitch. Called you Mitch. You ready, Griff? All right, 3, 2, 1. Pricing your home right is the most important way to get top dollar on your home. It's not like you think. A lot of people say, oh, I want this much, and they price it really high. But the problem is the buyers won't even come look at it. They won't even make an offer, even though they've looked at it, if they think it's priced too high, because they don't want to get shot down. So here's the thing, the best way to get top dollar is to price it what I call realistically versus optimistically. The hard facts are prices are starting to come down because inventory's up by 20%. Sales are down by 14%, and the interest rates are over 1.25 points higher than they were a year ago. So to find out how to market your home to get the most money, you need an experienced agent that knows how to price it right to get top dollar. I just helped a seller do that, where we priced it to similar sales. It didn't work. We made an adjustment and boom, got multiple offers. It played mom against dad, and it sold for full market value. That's the way to do it. Does that sound good? Okay. All right. Let me try one more. I'm going to bring up that script. Was that too long, Griff? All right. So it's missing. So anytime you do marketing, you have to have an offer, a benefit, a call to action. So also the state requires company name and a phone number. So can you just put a graphic on there? Call or text Barb 719-301-3900. Okay. This one I have to read. All right, on this one, Griff, I'm going to take it in segments because I don't really have it memorized in my soul. Ready? Okay. If you're considering selling your home, I've got some great news for you. I can get you multiple cash offers on your home in just minutes and guarantee the sale of your home at a price acceptable to you, or I'll pay you the difference. And these offers are really good. To find out more, call or text 719-301-3900 and start packing. Okay. I'm going to do one more take on that. Ready? Need to put it right in front of me. Keyboards. I know what I'm supposed to say. All right. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Considering selling your home? One more time. Considering selling your home? Well, we have some great news. Get a guaranteed cash offer on your home today at a price agreeable to you. I'm Barb Schlinker with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. I'm the broker owner, and these offers are really strong offers. Get a guaranteed cash offer on that. One more time. Get a guaranteed cash offer on your home. No gimmicks, no open houses, no showings, no hassles, and you can move when you want. This is hands down the best thing in real estate. Call or text today, 719-301-3900. Can you patch that together? Okay, thank you. Okay. All right, Wendy, can you be back by David and Jen are going to be here about 12:30
Oh, yeah, yeah.
ish.
It's just bi-weekly pictures and stuff.
Gotcha.
It's just one. Okay.
Okay, guys, I'm ready when you are. Take your time, no hurry.
Hey, Barb.
How's it going?
It is well. How about you?
You know, seems like every day there's little bumps and hiccups and stuff.
There is, you know what? And I keep trying to convince myself, you know what? Get used to it. It's going to happen every day. Don't let it bother you. And I keep just having this naive thought that maybe one day I could just get one freaking day where I didn't have to contend with as much as I have to contend with. And yet, you know what? If I were to go back in time and somebody said, well, you can have this radio show and do this and this and this, I'd be like, I'm in.
Yeah, I mean, um, I can say probably every day something's going to go sideways.
Right.
And so I spend half my time putting out fires, dealing with problems, which is not what I want to
Same
do. If
thing.
I could,
Go ahead.
if I could spend all day just simply marketing, I'd be happy.
I feel like there is always something, and I don't know. I just sometimes it's probably my own fault, but I feel like half the time I'm, just going over the same territory. Didn't I do this like a month ago? Wait a minute. Didn't I thought I did this already? And I just wish maybe one of these days I just need to go through and read the emails that I get. I try to get to all the text messages, but oh my God, I just get such crazy emails. They drive me crazy. Uh,
I couldn't put myself out there. That's why I don't take calls on the show.
yeah,
Uh, you know, it
I
would,
agree. And you know what? In your case, I don't know that I don't know. You are so great. You could probably do it, but I don't know the average person could just sit there and then you're going to get a phone call from somebody who's going to go on for 4 or 5 minutes about the whole history of their house. And I had this person and I had that, and I thought the value with it. And it's like, oh my God, I could just see it bogging down pretty quickly.
yeah, I mean, it'd be fun
Perfect.
to have. I have a colleague that did it in Texas, and the way she did it was she actually had her team call in and ask questions. So she controlled the questions.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Well, if you want to do something like that, I mean, I hardly ever get calls. Ever since COVID, I hardly ever get calls. And I've only had 3 or 4 people as guests in the studio. Almost everything comes in as text. And I kind of like that because you can pick and choose what you want to read and what you want to reply to.
Yeah, I was talking to uh, the guy that runs the VA. I have like Griff is from the Philippines, right? So he works hard every day, getting all the videos out, doing the prep for this show. He does all the slides for the show. He helps me get the computer set up here. Um, and he's also does a lot of web stuff. So that's where people land. But we were talking about just email marketing, which is not something that was a big part of my business, but I do think my demographic, which is also your audience, more boomers, um, they look at email, right? And so he said, Google is watching who you're emailing and whether or not they're opting out or opting in or deleting or reading. And I don't know why, but
Wow.
I thought it was really interesting that, okay, he said, so if you can like send out like an email blast, maybe a market update or something like that, and whoever doesn't look at it, then you get rid of them. Like after you send them 6 emails, if they don't respond, get rid of them. Find somebody.
I have to agree with that. At a certain point, in fact, I'm kind of surprised. The majority of the emails I get, I just don't read.
Yeah.
and I don't even click on them. I mean, you can tell right off the bat that I have no interest in it. I am kind of shocked that they just keep sending it over and over again. But you know what I think, Barb? I think the explanation is they want to be able to tell somebody, I've got 5,000 people that I reach via email every day or, every week or whatever. And it's like, yeah, well, that's okay. Is any of it meaningful whatsoever? That'd be nice to know.
Well, there's a certain segment of the population that does read. Um, they do read their email. Like I listen to my husband whine about it a lot, about people emailing him, you know. So there's I think there's an opportunity there to market on email, and you want people that are engaged and that are interested. So it makes sense, but it's a
Well,
whole.
for you, for you, I think it does. Especially, I'm saying that I just get so many emails from people. I think we're talking about different emails. I get so many people who are pitching this idea or that idea because they think it would be great radio.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know what? That if I did that kind of thing on my show, it would kill my show quicker than anything.
Mm.
So not only am I not interested in this today, I can't imagine I'll ever be interested in it. And yeah, I don't know, maybe I should probably come up with something that kind of says that. I actually ought to do what I've been intending to do for a long time, and that's just go through and block all these people.
Well, it just takes time to do all that, and
It
then they come
does.
back.
Do they really?
Yeah, yeah. Block some, and I'm like, how did you get back? So, one of the things that he said, which I thought was very valid, he goes, the reason why radio is so important is that you're in their ear, which is closer to their brain. I don't know what
There
the
you
difference
go.
between the eye and the ear is, but maybe it's just remembered better. I'm not sure.
Well, I do know.
It is the most personal medium because most people are driving along, whether they're in a car full of people or not, you're talking to them directly.
Right,
You should always think of it that way. You're talking one-on-one to people because, like you said, they have two ears and it connects directly to their brain. It's right there.
right. And they remember.
And you know what? I think there must be something to it because I don't think it's, an old wives' tale or whatever, but some of the most painful stuff I've ever had, the closer to your brain it feels, the worse it can hurt. And the thing I would go back to is if you have ever had an abscess tooth.
Oh,
I guess if you had an abscess on your leg or your foot or something, it'd be bad. But man, it just seems like that tooth has got a direct line to your brain and sends it in immediately.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think people are listening a lot and they're not ready right now, but maybe they will be, they're just, I don't know. It's
No,
been,
I think they are, Barb. I mean, I try to always maintain that sort of thing where, you might not be in the market for it right now, but somebody that is. You may be in the market in a year or two. You just don't know what life is going to happen. But today, you're probably working with or have a relative who's thinking about it, and there's no point in just waiting to the last minute. Because I always do try to cover over to your show. I mean, I really believe in your show so much that I try to steer, well, pretty much on a daily basis. I don't know if you don't want me to do that, that's fine, but pretty much on a daily basis, I do mention your show and that it's just must listening if you're even thinking about it.
I was going to show you something. I don't know that I've ever shown you this, but this is something we're really pushing on the marketing side right now, which is our cash offer platform.
Right?
So one of my colleagues is down in Phoenix, and Phoenix has Open Door, Offer Pad, Sell in 72 hours, and all these different places. So basically what I can do, I know you can't see the whole screen, but I can take any property and put it in the cash offer platform and get them multiple offers. And even if they're already on the market. So like this one, we think the price is probably 4.25. I got Open Door to offer almost 4.
Wow.
Easy button, pay cash, right? So I'm going to start marketing this to people that, like, I'm getting people reaching out to me that their agent isn't selling their home. And I'm like, okay, you're represented by another agent, but you want my cash offers. All right. So I'm not sure how to approach that other than to say, you know, I can, you know, I have to represent you in order to bring you these buyers. You know, I don't know. I don't know how it's going to come across, but.
Well, I will say this. I think you've got the space covered. I can't think of anything. If someone were to say, well, do you think Barb does this? I can't think of anything. I would say, no, I'm pretty sure she probably doesn't do that, because there's hardly a thing out there that's going on. You seem to have your finger on the pulse of the industry very, very well. And I can't imagine that there's something out there that you're not aware of, or that.
Well, the average, there are a lot of people opting for this cash offer thing. And I think it was in Phoenix. I forget what city. Anyway, the average amount that these sellers would take below full market value was $54,000 just to have the easy button, just to not have to deal with all these random agents coming through your house and criticizing your home.
I just need to get in the habit of
That's a lot of money.
changing this. I really.
Sorry, we have to mess with the thermostat. It's getting too hot in here, and the machines like to shut down. So
Oh, can't have that.
It reminds me, I think I told you we have our in-laws live with us, and they will set the thermostat at 77 degrees. They'll still have like long sleeves on and have a blanket, as they're sitting down. And I'm like, it drives my wife crazy. They're her parents, and she'll go back. We gave them like about a third of the house, and she'll go back to visit with them, and she'll be in shorts. And she's like, I just need to get out of there. I can't even stand it in shorts. And apparently Jim Arthur belongs to whatever that DNA group is, because he always has it like at 75, 76.
Who is that?
Jim Arthur does the morning show
He
before.
does.
And all I can think of is, yes, when you come in the morning, because I just set it at 67, so it'll stay there until he comes in the morning. So I kind of understand why he would want it to heat up in the morning, but not to 75.
no,
And DJ's right. The computers just are,
well, the thermostat itself
right.
stops holding at 7 p.m. here.
Okay.
I've run games late.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I've been in here when it completely turns off and you can't turn it back on. Yeah, that's fun.
Well, and my wife's a doctor. She said that she has the same problem at her office, because they've got these ultrasounds for the babies and stuff. And she says, they're about $110,000 each. And if they overheat and shut down, usually we get them back and there's no big permanent damage, but it's almost like doing a hard stop on your computer. Yeah, you can do that, but eventually it's going to catch up with you.
Right. Well, we have space heaters in our office. In almost every cubicle has their own little heater, because the temperature is never right in here.
That is good. I mean, as a employer, I think that's great, because that allows each person to kind of control their own little workspace. I had a friend who worked here, and her office, she was in management. Her office had an outside facing window, and it was never cool in there, but she always complained that it was cool in there. So in the winter, I would go in and she'd have like this little 8-inch heater with a fan on it. And she literally just had it on her lap blowing on her. And I'm like, seriously? And every day, every day. I guess we're all hardwired a little bit different.
Well, comes and goes. You know, if I'm in bed, I don't mind because I've got covers to keep me warm, but
Yeah. Do you sleep better when it's a little bit cooler under covers? Because I think that's a kind of
yeah,
cozy thing to do.
I won't admit it, but it's true. My husband would be happy if it was like 60 in the room.
Oh my gosh.
When I leave town, he opens the windows and lets it get really cold.
Actually, there was a time in life when I did that. I think I'm past that. I
Get
thought
a
I saw
water.
my husband on the interstate like last week, and it was the wrong kind of car. It went by me so quickly that I thought it might have been him, and it had a veteran kind of sticker on it. And then I later saw it, and I'm like, no, that's not him. But plus, he wouldn't be driving that irresponsibly, I'm sure. Okay, I've got a clock. I've got David. Oh, might as well be talking to the wind here. It's amazing. You Google search something, and then the stuff that the algorithm kicks over and pops up. I'm just like, really? Out of everything that I've put in here, you think that somehow ties into why these Mexicans have boots that the toes are like 12 inches and curl up? That's out of something I was looking for here on UFOs? Hmm.
All right.
Unidentified foot objects.
Yeah.
Hey, got my
Okay.
heater on. I'm good to go.
I'll count us down in 3, 2, 1. Hi, I'm Richard Randall, and welcome to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of the program. This is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Colorado's real estate authority, that is Barb Schlinker. Barb Schlinker is a retired Navy veteran. Barb is an author. Barb Schlinker is also a pilot, and Barb and her team enjoy all that Colorado and the Front Range have to offer. Barb, always great to be talking with you. Now, we air Your Real Estate Voice every Saturday, and if you can't listen to the entire show, always available on Barb's site, barbhasthebuyers.com, or just go to your favorite podcast platform, iHeartRadio, Spotify, whatever, and search for Barb. You'll find her there. Every week, Your Real Estate Voice covers great information about the housing market and one of people's largest assets, your home. Barb, what are we going to be covering today?
Can you hang on just a second?
Sure.
I
And
messed
I
up.
can do that over again if you'd like.
Well, I don't know what happened, but I think
I'm going to take a
might
sip
have
of
turned
caffeine.
it off or something silly like that.
I had to be completely, you know what? I couldn't eat anything other than Jello, drink anything other than.
Yeah, I don't know if I turned it off because I turned off my Gmail. I might have just disabled it, but I can't find the slides. Well, I've got 2, 3, and 4 up on the browser, but I don't know where 1 is. Okay. Okay, cool. Okay. That one's segment 1. Okay. Okay. Sorry, guys. We're ready now.
No, we're here. We-
I think I clicked it off without noticing.
I have done that before, more than one time. So, DJ, just start from the very beginning again. No, pick it up with, all right. Yeah.
What we'll be covering today.
Yeah. Barb, so what will we be talking about today?
Well, let's start a little bit about the market because it is not behaving right now, not like we thought. So just to put it in perspective, last year from February all the way through June, prices went up in El Paso County in the Pikes Peak region. Denver is still pretty hot, but Colorado Springs is softening a bit because interest rates have gone up, volume of sales have dropped, inventory has increased. So we have to make sure that we price our home absolutely realistically versus optimistically. So we're going to kind of talk about what's going on in the market right now. And we'll cover kind of what we're seeing in the trends and of course what you can do about it in the first segment. And then we're also going to talk about how long does it take to sell a home? I get that question all the time, and it really depends on the seller's priority. And then the third thing would be how to sell a home, how to get this right in a market that's shifting, because last year is not like this year. It's completely changed. And last but not least, I'm getting this question a lot when I go out and meet with home sellers. Will this new ruling about the NAR lawsuit, National Association of Realtors, represent the end of 6% commissions? And as always, I love talking about my hot new. As always, I love talking about my hot new listings. Richard?
You sure do. We'll do that a little bit later in the program. Now, Barb, as we wade into this prime selling season, what's in store for the future of the area's real estate market? And how do home sellers solve the problem if their homes aren't selling?
Well, Richard, it's all about interest rates. So back during the boom, the rates were about 3%. That made house payments very affordable for buyers, and it drove the prices up. But the rates have gone up, and there is absolutely no indication right now from the Fed that they're going to lower the rates anytime soon. In fact, if this inflation keeps going, it's highly likely they may raise the rates again. Right now, a 30-year fixed is sitting at 7.44%. The VA loan is just under 7%. And so you either have to be priced very realistically or you have to offer some kind of incentive to the buyer to make them want to make an offer on your home. And the other thing that's really happened is that the pending sales have dropped by 14%. That's a big number. And that's all about interest rates. The kind of rule of thumb is every increase of interest rates by 1% means a 10% drop in the buyer population. We're actually seeing a little bit more than that. Inventory, the number of available homes has gone up by 20%. And it hasn't quite happened yet, but we're starting to see signs that the prices are softening. I just did a real screenshot on what's going on in Colorado Springs, looking at my software that gives me data all around the area. And basically, what we're seeing is it's kind of the same as it was. It hasn't moved that much. We are seeing a trend of the prices actually heading back down again in the county and the inventory rising. So what does that mean if you're a home seller? It means that you have to be priced right. Don't get me wrong. Homes are selling, but it's only the ones that are priced right. And with the rates up and the days on, and with the rates up and the interest rates up and the inventory, let me say that all over again. With the rates going up and the number of available homes, the inventory up, the result is a higher average days on market, almost 90 days. Guess what that 90-day mark is? Right now it's 85 days. 90-day average days on market is an indication of not a seller's market anymore, more like a buyer's market, more like the buyers are going to get some wiggle room in negotiating. But here's the problem. Ever since the boom, the average buyer won't negotiate. If the home is not priced the way they want it, they won't even go look at it. That's why pricing is so important. I see so many home sellers that decide, hey, I want to price a little bit high just in case they ask me for stuff. But at the end of the day, if you're priced just right, you're actually going to get buyers that don't ask for stuff. As we see the inventory go up, more than likely, we're going to see some prices come down or soften just a little bit. Last time this year, the average interest rate was in the low sixes. That's why the prices went up. Right now, you need to make almost $100,000 a year just to buy a home in the area. So I really feel like even though the inventory is going to be uncommonly low as compared to years past, the problem is the buyers, especially the first-time home buyers, cannot afford the payment. But you know what? There is a pent-up demand of buyers looking to buy nice homes. I know it because I test it every single day. We just put a couple of homes on the market that were priced very realistically, and all three of them got multiple offers. And the way you do that is you price it right. So even though we're seeing the prices kind of head back up towards last year's range, what we are seeing though is that fewer buyers can afford homes right now. And that's because interest rates are higher. So if you are thinking of making a move, you want to make sure that you get with the agent that really knows how to price the home right so you make the most money. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the host of this show, your real estate voice. I'm also the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Barb has the buyer's team. And we're talking about what do we do now if we're seeing that our house is sitting on the market and nothing's going on. So after the next break, we're going to talk about what you can expect to see going forward this summer and what to do with this new market condition. And my website, you can go there anytime. It's barbhasthebuyers.com. I have over 28,877 buyers in waiting just on my little website. Typically, I can match at least 100 buyers to your home. So if you are thinking of making a move and you'd like to get a free in-home consultation on what to do and what not to do to get your house ready for sale, give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
Now, Barb, we're discussing the current real estate market and how people can be prepared if they want to buy or sell. So what should home sellers expect and do in a market situation like this one? You've seen most of it before.
Hey, DJ, where are we at? Because I didn't start my clock.
I didn't either.
We're at 10 minutes. We're cool.
Okay, ready to go. I'll just hold it, that question. I'm going to answer it now. 3,
Okay.
2, 1. Well, Richard, the outlook is if rates continue to go up or even stay the same, and inventory absolutely historically always goes up going into the summer, it could mean a slight rollback in prices. But that doesn't mean a lot. Like, as an example, I helped a seller recently who we looked at identical similar sales and we priced it that way, recent sales, and it just nothing happened. We got kind of a low turnout. We've got just a few showings. And the rule of thumb is if you're getting very few showings and no offers, you're probably 3 to 5% off. So we made an adjustment like that, and immediately we got 2 buyers, played them against each other, and we were able to actually sell it for full market value. And what was interesting, Richard, is this agent, one of the agents, was trying to intimidate me into telling her what the other offer was, which I can't do that. My goal is to get the most money for the seller. And so she found this really twisted way to say, well, is that a bidding war? Or are you just collecting offers? That's not the way I do it. I've been doing this 6 years, and this is how I do it. So if you have permission to share the terms with me, then it will give me a target of where I can price the home or where I can perhaps make an offer to give the seller what they want. And I thought it was kind of a twisted way to try to get that intel from me. I can't share that. I can only share that there are other offers and tell them make their best and highest. Do you think that's fair?
I think it's fair. I mean, you are great at marketing. They don't teach that in real estate school, but you've had a couple of decades to learn how to do that. And your obligation is to your client, not to somebody else.
Right. It was entertaining for me, to say the least, but she did help me get the price up on the other buyer. And then we got full market value and a better contract. So because the rates were lower last year, because there was probably about the same, maybe a little bit, 20% less inventory at the time. That's what made prices go up. And I know people have heard other people say that, 1% drop in interest rates will make the market go crazy. That's probably true. But what we're seeing right now is in Teller County, the inventory is relatively flat. In Pueblo County, it's relatively flat. In Douglas County, it's heading up just a little bit. But in El Paso County, it's going up quite a bit. And yet we don't have the buyers to absorb that inventory. So, and it's all about payment. So in order to do this, what should you do in this market? Well, be like the builders. The builders have more sales going on than probably any other group of sellers right now in this market because they know what the buyers want. They want a move-in ready house. They want a low payment. So they were able to accomplish that by offering incentives for the buyers to make that happen. And make sure your home is show ready. If just even little cosmetic things like carpet and paint can make a difference between a buyer saying yes to your house or turning their nose up and going over to a brand new home, even though the lot isn't as good. And as long as you price it very realistically versus optimistically, that is how you get the most money. And pricing absolutely is the magic bullet when it comes to selling homes. I know that because we sell homes every single week. We know exactly what we can expect. And typically when we price a home realistically, they will sell and they will sell for top dollar. So if you are thinking of making a move, maybe you don't want to go through the traditional sales process. We actually can get you multiple guaranteed upfront cash offers. We can even guarantee your price or we'll pay you the difference. So to find out more, call or text 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice. That's Barb Schlinker. She is your real estate voice, and she's with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Co-host of the program. I don't like that. 3, 2, 1. You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. She is your real estate voice and the proprietor of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. If you're thinking of making a move, call Barb. She's the host of the program. You can reach her at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. Take a short break. When we come back, we'll be talking about how long does it take to sell a Colorado home like yours? Or kind of like yours, or maybe a whole hell of a lot better than yours, or maybe not even as good as yours. I'm sorry. I'm in a mood. I'm gonna run. I know. I'll be right back.
Sorry, I forgot to start the clock and I looked over and went, oh no, how long have I been talking?
We're fine. It's actually easier the more you give me.
It's easier what?
The more you give me.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, last week worked perfect because you had two segments that were a little bit shorter than usual,
Oh,
and
yeah.
and two segments that were longer than usual. So I just paired those up, and
Yeah. I heard like the very last, I didn't get to hear the one where I went on the rant though. I asked,
there were two
Really?
segments that you went on a rant. But
oh, there were.
yep,
It happened again. It's going to happen again. So,
well, you love this NAR stuff, so and that passion comes across. So we got to keep that.
yeah. Well, it's not, I'm going to talk about another one where we put this house on the market that's owned by the VA, and it's gutted. It's flood cut. The wood floors are all wonky. There's no cabinets. The bathrooms are missing. And I guess for me, if I'm working with a buyer, there's some stuff I want to know, right? If the buyer is interested, I'm not going to bother the listing agent until I've kind of at least read the MLS. If it's a question I can't answer, but I can't even get them to read the showing instructions, So this home, it was priced 40% below market value, 40%, right? So that's enough room for the typical investor to get in there, do, rehab it, flip it, and make a profit. There's plenty of room for that. And these dummy agents would call and go, after it's been on the market for a week, and go, oh, do you have any offers? I'm like, really? Are you really asking me that question? And then I'll go, well, did you read the MLS or the showing instructions? Even, which comes right to your phone. You just have to do one click to get all the detail.
I
And
love the snarky Barb, just so you know it. I love
and
it.
the answer was, I haven't had time. And I'm like, oh my God, you're
I
going to
had
make
You don't have time
latte,
to service
and then I
your-
had a massage, and then I was going to go to the bodega.
exactly. It's like, okay, really. The,
So I'm
the
supposed to
seller's
do
paying
your
you
job for you.
$9,000 and you don't have time to read one paragraph.
I-
So that's why I
Tell
think
them
this
to call me, because I'll read a paragraph for $9,000. I'm happy to do that. And I'll just tell them, hey, the MLS says this, and geez.
But I work really hard to put the information out, but and I try mostly because I don't want my staff to be overwhelmed by stupid questions. There's 5,000 of them and there's one of me. And I publish as much information as I can. I created videos about how to make an offer, how to improve their offer, what could they expect, the whole thing. And there were one or two that watched the video, but most of them call me. Well, how many offers do you have? I'm like, 25, you know. So I just I think what's going to happen is these weak agents, the ones that are all about the money, open the door, write a 10-minute contract and make thousands of dollars. I think they're going to go away.
I
'Cause I
think so too.
I think the buyers are going to figure out that, okay, what now I have to pay you for what? Yeah.
Exactly. I'm paying you a lot of money, but you're doing what again? I mean, yeah, I hate to say, I've been going through some medical stuff, and it just sounds horrible to say, but it seems like, I'm sure everybody said this about the next generation, but it seems like this generation just is not as invested in what they're doing. And more than anything, whether it's real estate or medicine, they just want to get in and out as quickly as they can. And as a patient, I'm like, hold on. And as somebody who's, representing somebody, like you say, biggest investment of their life, you would like
Right.
somebody on the other end of the equation that knows what the hell's going on and is spending some time working it out.
Well, the one time I didn't work in radio, I worked as tech support at T-Mobile.
Right.
And their big thing was to get people off the phone just as quickly as you possibly could.
Really?
Yeah. And I got written up 3 times because I spent an hour and a half explaining to a woman how to use her phone. I'm
Yeah.
like, we're tech support.
Yeah.
We're supposed to explain this
Yeah.
stuff. They weren't explained at the store, which is where they were supposed to be explained.
Right.
But this is how this works. This is how this works. And I always seem to get the 80-year-old lady who had no idea
Yeah.
what she had bought. She was talked by some smooth salesman, and
Yeah, and their kids are saying you have to have a phone. And they're like,
Yeah.
oh God, what's that?
Hey, I have one, but I don't know how to answer it or to call anybody, or I don't know what half these functions are. It is amazing. I will say it is amazing what all a phone can do if you know how to do it. And I don't even know I probably know about a quarter of what I can do on my phone.
Well, the thing that really irritates me is like, I mean, I like this client. They brought me multiple properties. They all sell, but, and I get that the agents haven't done this type of sale before. I don't mind educating them, but I can't do 5,000 phone calls. You know, I
Exactly.
need, so that's why I created the videos. I explained it, tried to make sense out of it. They could replay it, you know. It's the ones that don't bother, you know, to learn anything.
You know, I
And
have to say this too, Barb, that I don't think they understand how busy you and your staff are. And for every minute you're taking with them, because they didn't look at the video, there are probably 2 or 3 people who are in line hoping to have a couple of minutes with you. And they did watch the video. They just need a little bit of clarification or something. I mean,
yeah, but they call any day of the week, any time of the day. I mean, my brother had a listing on the market, and it was another late to the party real estate agent, didn't read the MLS, went and showed the house, sent an offer. He'd already had in the MLS. We're looking at offers at 5 o'clock. She does this at like 8, 9 o'clock at night, and then sends me a text going, are there other offers? Because I was as the co-listing agent, and I'm just like, what's with this girl? Does she not read? I didn't even bother answering her. So then she texts Tom at 11 o'clock at night
oh my God.
and saying, Barb won't get back to me.
I don't even like personal friends to text me that late at night because
That's
I
what I'm
leave my
saying.
phone on all night in case something happens with my kids.
It better be an emergency.
Yeah.
That's right. The building better be on fire, you know, but it's just, it's to them, it's perfectly normal to communicate that way. And they just don't, I don't know. I don't get the lack of attention to detail, but I think part of the problem is the industry has no standardization, no training for what they do. None. Sorry, I could go on about it for hours. That's why they probably all hate me.
Well, you know, if it entails them not liking you, but it entails your customers thinking you did a great job for you, that's a pretty easy trade-off. So,
Yeah, and so what some of these agents have done, I put in the video and the showing instructions. You got any questions? Here's my phone number. Here's the office phone number. You know, ask me the question. Do they ask me the question? No. They go straight to the client, straight to the VA. I have a question. I'm like, you never asked me that question. And now you're throwing me under the bus with the client, making me think that I'm not answering questions. It's just like, oh, I can't stand them. Anyway, that's my world.
I, you know, I honestly, I think I have a stressful life. And then I listen to you and I'm like, nope, I'm not even in the same ballpark as you are. But again, that's, you know, that's why people get better service from you. And, you know, if you make, again, just don't understand these other people who don't get that your obligation is to your client, not to them making a quick buck because they can ask you to do something they need to learn how to do. All right, I have a new clock and I got a script and I, in fact, are ready to go.
Okay,
In fact,
I'm ready.
I'll count us down in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate. And it does it with the host of the program, Barb Schlinker, the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, many home sellers want to sell their homes for the most money that they can get. There are also some situations, though, where people need to sell their homes very quickly. So how long does it take to sell a house in Colorado? And what are the options that most home sellers do have?
Well, Richard, part of what we do is we ask when we sit down with home sellers, we want to know what is their goal, what is their timeline, when do they want to move? But a lot of them don't know how long it takes just to sell a home. It's not like a car where you can go down to one of those dealerships that just cuts you a check on that day and you hand over the keys and you're done. There are some steps that have to take place. First of all, you got to put the buyer and the seller together. And second of all, at the very minimum, you need to do a title search and more than likely an inspection just in case. I have a client right now buying a home that they know this home very well. It's a neighbor of theirs. They're buying their neighbor's home. But we did an inspection and the things that we found were quite surprising. There were quite a few big ticket items that really needed to be taken care of just so they have a functional house. Like the roof had failed, like the sewer line was clogged up with flushable wipes, believe it
Wow.
or not. The panel was an unsafe panel and there were a couple of plumbing problems. So these type of things, are not readily obvious when you go and look at the home. And there is a lot of steps that take place. Now, you don't necessarily have to fix it prior to closing. With some sellers, they worry about trying to get all these things done prior to closing. However, we can just get a bid and have it paid for out of closing, and then they can deal with the contractors. There are a lot of solutions. And in my experience, the fastest sale I have done is 10 days, but that's kind of crazy. It can be done. There are some that even with a loan can be done in 3 weeks. And the question is, how sellable is the home and does it need repairs? And does the buyer need to have repairs? We do sales all the time that are simply as is. Like the seller's like, this is a completely as is deal. I'm not going to fix anything. Make your best offer. And those could be things that need a lot of work, that are hard to finance. Like I just put a home on the market that was taken back in foreclosure. And the way we got the property, basically it was completely gutted. I mean, all the cabinets are gone. Everything in the bathrooms are gone. Half the drywall is gone. And the floors are all wonky from probably what looked like water damage. Of course, a lot of the agents are asking, well, what happened here? And we're like, we don't know. We have no idea, but it's pretty obvious looking at it. They had some kind of water damage that wasn't ultimately completed. And there are certain kinds of buildings that are hard to finance. Like if you have multiple homes on one parcel of land, especially more than two, the lenders get real nervous about that. Certain age single wides or certain age double wides is hard to get financing on. If the plumbing is not functional, if the heat is not functional, all those things mean that you're not going to go traditional financing. But the traditional live in the house type of buyer is not buying the home as is. So that process, I would say, at a minimum might be 3 weeks if everything goes smoothly, but more than likely 4. And of course, repairs and all that kind of thing can be negotiated, but there's quite a process for a loan, including appraisal, and all those things have to take place before you can get to the finish line. And then what about if you're building a new home? I get that question an awful lot. Okay, well, I'm building a new home and my house is going to be ready on this day. Okay, great. They may not be on time, just so you know, things happen in the building process, but most builders will not accept a sale contingency. So you have to be ready for plan B. So there's a couple of options in plan B. Either you could sell it early and stay in temporary housing, or we actually have a program that we can actually give you multiple cash offers on your home. You pick the best one for you and move when you want. Those are really ideal, especially for a new construction type of scenario. The other thing that comes up a lot is how common are these cash offers? And actually, believe it or not, 22 to 24% of home sales across the country in the past couple of years were people selling to a cash buyer. It might be what they call an iBuyer, which is an institutional buyer, or it could be just a local mom and pop. That one house I just told you about that was flood cut, we had 30 offers and the offers went way over asking price, but it was only because they priced it right. The actual average amount that a home seller will accept to skip the whole traditional route is about $57,000 off of asking price. Now, why is that? It's because they want certainty. They want to know it's sold. They can pick their closing date. The whole process is less cumbersome, and it's never in doubt. So you don't have to worry about appraisals. You don't have to worry about inspections. You're just done. And so cash offers absolutely are gaining momentum right now. And we are the only company in town that's offering this. Basically, you can give us your information. We just need a few pictures and videos, and boom, we can get you multiple cash offers. And many of these offers are really good offers. I mean, they're close to market value. It's like the easy button, sell my house, ding, I'm done. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Barb has the buyer's team and the host of this show. I love doing this show and talking about my experiences. It's called Your Real Estate Voice. And next up, we're going to talk about what are the benefits of accepting a cash offer and how you can get one in 24 hours and how we guarantee your price or I'll pay you the difference. Richard?
You're listening to Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And as she said, she's the host of the program. And if you're interested in selling your home and you want to get in touch with Barb, give her a call at 719-301-3900. We're talking, Barb, about selling a home. Now, why would a home seller be interested in getting a cash offer on their home as opposed to other traditional methods?
Well, first of all, a cash offer gives a lot of certainty for the home seller. The first one is you don't have to worry about a lender looking at the property and making sure that the home qualifies for the loan, or making sure some third party that's giving an opinion of value, that's called an appraisal, that the price qualifies for the loan. So you don't have to worry about either one of those. We actually have 64 high net worth cash buyers, many of which will make an offer on just about any home that's presented to me. So we take the details of your home, we put it up in our proprietary buy box. Basically, it's a website that only this company has access to in this area, and we can get multiple offers on your home. And these cash buyers actually compete for your house. We can even put local cash buyers up on the platform and our guaranteed cash offer. So the reason why it's a benefit to the home seller is it's kind of like a done deal. There's no uncertainty. They don't have to worry about showing their house. They don't have to worry about agents going through their house and criticizing it, agents going through and telling their buyers it's not worth that much, or all the things that we see happen all the time. But if you did want to try to get the most amount of money and get one of those live in your home type buyers in your home, we can actually guarantee your price or we'll pay you the difference. And then we market to our exclusive buyers in waiting, over 27,877 people just on my little website. And typically I can find at least 100 that are a high match for your home. We can market to directly to buyers on Zillow, buyers on Realtor.com, and then offer you things like the worry-free move-up program where you can buy your next home first without selling your current home, as well as our guaranteed cash offer program. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call. 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. But here's some other reasons why a cash offer would be a good program for you. First of all, it's an expedited closing process and timeline. We could have you closed and done in 2 weeks, 2 to 4 weeks. Or if you don't want to move that fast, that's okay. Just let us know your ideal closing date. We'll make it happen. You're going to get peace of mind that your home is sold. You'll do minimal, if any, repairs. And it's an optimal resolution for different life situations. Plus, another thing that one of those investors offers is if your home needs a little bit of work just to make it more marketable, it's sort of like you have the investor do a fix and flip for you. So you get cashed out up front, they do the repairs, then we put it back on the market. And then when the buyer comes in and pays full retail value, you get almost all the difference back the second time. You actually get paid twice. So there's just so many wonderful programs out there for these multiple cash offers. And it's a way that you can actually get your net proceeds and buy your next home first. We have investors that will actually come and just write you a check for your equity. And then you put your house on the market and you have months and months to get your home sold at full retail value. So there aren't too many companies that actually offer all of these different options when it comes to selling your home. The traditional answer you get from the traditional real estate is you stick your house on the market, you maybe take some pretty pictures, which I'm glad they do that at least. And just hope and pray some other agent has a buyer. They don't have any of these solutions, but we do. So if you're interested in getting your home sold, not listed, give us a call. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. You can go to barbhasthebuyers.com or call or text us at 719-301-3900. Richard?
You're listening to Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. She is your real estate voice. And if you're thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we're going to be talking about how to sell a home in a market that is softening up a little bit. Stay tuned for that. Wow, 1219. And I have to tell you, whenever you give somebody a compliment and say, gosh, you are great on this show, it sounds like, oh, well, you're normally not great. And all of a sudden I'm shocked that you're actually great. You're just cooking on this. That's all.
Thank you. I kept looking at the clock going, oh my God, I got to talk some more. Oh yeah, I can say that. Sometimes I don't follow the script like most of the time.
So
We had no idea.
All right. So I've got this script for this, and I was looking at the tail end of it, and I've got on page 11, it
Which
all of a
one?
sudden
Number 3?
segment 3, starting on page 11, it actually goes into your hot new listings, which we always do on segment 4. So I'm wondering if I'm confused here.
No, I'm not seeing that unless I'm.
You know what? Maybe they got scrambled. Let me check 4.
Is the one we're doing next is how to sell in a softening market.
Yeah, we might have got it
Oh no, you know what? That's probably on my end here.
a
then
little
I'm gonna-
scrambled there.
Go off on the NAR stuff.
Is the numbers coincided, so it went 9, 10, 11, but actually 4 does that as well. My mistake, Barb.
That's okay.
I'm glad though, because
I'm
this
not-
makes it pretty easy.
I'm probably not going to follow the script anyway, so don't worry about it.
Plus, it reaffirms that there was no way.
I lost his audio.
All right.
There he is. He's back.
Hey, I was just saying that I get these and I shuffle them around. I do this and that. I think I shuffled them and put a couple of pages from 4 onto 3. And it was just weird because, 11 and 12 followed 10, whatever. It's on my end. All right. I've got a new clock and I'm ready to go. How about you, Barb? Take your time. I'm not trying to rush you. I'll take a drink of caffeine. Ugh.
Okay. Okay, ready? Whenever you are.
All right. Hang on just a second. My computer's down, so I've got to use my phone. All right. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, the host of the program. And this is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate. And it does it with Barb Schlinker, the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, when home sellers are planning to put their homes on the market, how does a home seller handle a shifting market? If it's a right time to sell or not, you've got the insight on that. Give it to us.
Well, Richard, most people don't sell a home very often, and some have never sold a home at all. So it's not the same as selling a car. There's a lot to it. There's a lot of preparation. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of people involved with the whole thing. And so what we've seen really is that technology has changed a lot in the last 10 years. That's why you're seeing all these lawsuits going on, because they're like, wait a minute, hold on. The buyers are like, well, give me just a second. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
I had a web browser up and it makes a noise when somebody calls the office. So I just made that be quiet.
All right.
All right. So technology has changed a lot. What I mean by that is the imagery of homes has gotten so high quality that the buyer is making their decision about whether or not they even want to pursue that home based on the pictures that they see online. And they're seeing the pictures, they're seeing everything around it. They're seeing the price, they're seeing what Zillow thinks it's worth. They're seeing all this data that's making them decide, should I even bother to drive by? Should I even go look at the home? Does it work for me? Should I waste my time? That's a big shift that we've seen in the last 10 years. That's why it's so important who you hire when you go on the market. You can't have average pictures. You can't have average marketing. You have to really stand out, especially with the inventory rising like it is right now. So that's why the agent handling the sale really makes a difference. And here are the cold, hard facts. Inventory is up by 20% just based on seasonality. As we go into the summer, inventory is going to go up a lot more. And if we don't have the sales to absorb the inventory, the only net result is going to be that the prices are going to come down. That's why it's so important to price your home right out of the gate, very, very realistically versus optimistically. The other thing that's happened, sales are dropped by 14%, almost concurrently with the rates going up by 1.4% as compared to what they were a year ago. Inflation is up, and you know what? The rates are not going to come down. I don't care what CNBC or all these channels say, it's not going to happen. The interest rates are going to stay the same, if not go higher through the rest of the year. So how long does it take to make this happen really depends on how prepared the home is for sale and whether or not it's priced, what I call very realistically versus optimistically. Marketing plays a role in it, but most sellers don't necessarily want a marketer. They want to get their home sold, but marketing is a piece of it. And we know that buyers eliminate homes based on the online presentation in less than 1 minute. That's all you have. People grab their little smartphones and then boom, boom, boom. It takes them seconds to go, nope, nope, don't want that one, moving on, right? So the first picture has to be the best by far, without a doubt, followed by the next and the next and the next. I actually had a client recently tell me, she goes, each house gets 5 clicks. If they don't impress me for 5 clicks, I'm done, right? That's very normal. I think the attention span of people now is down to, I was told this morning, down to 8 seconds. That's not a lot of time. So preparation is absolutely critical when you put your house on the market. They did a study, and this is 4 years old now. I'm sure it's probably even less time than that, but it showed back then that the average buyer looks at one house and spends less than 1 minute on the home. And they look at the outside, the curb appeal, the backyard, the view, the living room, the kitchen, the master bathroom, then the master bedroom. So if you don't get those pictures right, or you bury them with 20 outside pictures, including the overhead and the back door and all that stuff, you're going to lose the buyer. They're like, oh, come on, I just want to look at a house that I want to see. The unfortunate thing is most agents actually spend less than $129 a month on marketing. And I don't even think they're spending money on business cards, to be honest with you, because I can't get them to leave a business card when they're showing my occupied homes. Don't you think that's rude, Richard? You've gone into somebody's house, right? I asked them to leave a card, but they don't leave a card to tell the seller when they come back from the home, were they there or not? Isn't that
That
weird?
is absolutely rude. And I don't get it. I mean, I would think if I were starting in real estate, if I weren't going to do anything else and all I was going to do is spend $120 a month on marketing, I'd buy some damn cards. I'd
Yeah,
buy some
it's
cards.
a
I'm sorry.
simple
I'd
thing.
buy some cards. I'd buy some cards.
Yeah, I mean, they might cost $49 at Vistaprint to get 1,000 of them. And if you're showing 1,000 homes, you should be making a little bit of money, I hope. Anyway, so promotion is absolutely critical. How the home is presented to the market. That includes the quality of the photos, absolutely critical. And really, nobody knows who is eliminating these homes based on the photos, but you can pretty much guess when you see photos of all this junk in the house, or it just sometimes it just jumps out at you. People take pictures of the inside of pantries when they're living in the home. It just doesn't look good. Now, I think I've only seen one pantry that had food in it that was photo worthy, but even that was kind of marginal, and that looked spectacular. If we know that buyers are deciding that a majority of the homes that they're just viewing online are ones that they're deciding not to go see, how do you get picked as the homes that they do want to see? And that has to do with how effectively the agent that you pick actually markets the home. So if you're thinking of making a home, you want to make sure you find the agent that actually invests in really marketing your home correctly. You also have to be the best home on the block. That involves preparation, staging, fixing broken stuff. People are not going to accept the home if it has old, tired carpet. People are going to turn their nose up on the home if it's dated. And if the home is not dated and it's not selling, it's price. It's got to be price. There's no other reason. But make sure that your agent presents the home in the best possible light, including professional photography, virtual tours, all kinds of ads where people have access to the information without having to slog through all these different websites. And let's start with marketing a home that might need some repairs. So I think that a lot of people are probably get so used to seeing their home like it is that they feel like it's okay. And a buyer will accept that the carpet is tired and old, or they'll accept that the doorbell is broken, or they'll accept that the deck is tired and broken and needs paint. Sometimes it's just a little thing that's enough to make a buyer say, no, thank you. I don't want it. It needs too much work. So what we do is we actually provide experts, and we get an outside third party professional to come in and take a look at your home and actually give you a checklist, room by room by room by room. Do this, remove that, pack that away, put that in storage, so that when the buyers come in, it looks like a model home. And I've had a lot of people say, after they're done, they do everything that they're asked. They're like, it doesn't feel like anybody lives here. I'm like, no, just trust me, it looks great. And those are the homes that get multiple offers. That's why we offer these staging services. And there's different kinds of staging. I've seen staging where people bring furniture in. I've seen really weak staging where the agent brings in a blankie or two and sticks a blankie in a corner of a room and calls it good. That's not staging. Okay, the whole idea of staging is to get the buyer to visualize themselves living in the room. So that means you have to have them visualize furniture in the room and to be able to figure out what is in the room. This is not staging. I have a picture of a room here with all kinds of, they look like lazy boy chairs, the little doily with a table that's full of junk, the dog toys on the floor. That's a mistake. There are so many buyers that say if they're going to present their home that way, I don't even want to go see it because there's probably a lot of other problems. Staging is really, really important because the buyer wants to look at it and go, oh, that looks nice. I want to go see it, right? That's how you get homes sold in a week. Even empty homes should be staged somehow, because it's kind of an artistic talent to be able to see what a home looks like. If you look at an empty room, you can't figure out what size the room is, whether or not your furniture is going to fit. That's why we do all kinds of staging to really present the home and give it a wow factor, because we have to create demand. Back in the old days, before we had all this high quality imagery, there were no pictures, or the pictures weren't good enough for a buyer to make a decision. So on average, they would physically go in and look at least 40 homes. Now the average buyer is only physically going in and looking at 5 and picking one. So you have to make sure you hire the agent that knows how to avoid online buyer elimination. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Barb has the buyer's team and the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. So we're talking about how to get the home sold when the market's softening, and how we can guarantee. Next up, what we're going to cover is some steps on how to do that, as well as how we can guarantee the sale of your home at your price, a price acceptable to you, or I'll pay you the difference. Richard?
You're listening. You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. She is your real estate voice and the host of the program. You can always call her or text her at 719-301-3900. And we're talking about selling homes while the market is shifting. So, Barb, why is it so important to set up your home to be the most attractive home?
Well, if you have less than a minute to make an impression, and typically it's just one impression before they're moving on, you have to get that right. Also, buyers fall in love with homes online first before they actually go down the road of physically going to look at it. The other thing that happens is you want to make sure you have tools where they can kind of get a bird's eye view, either interactive floor plans or virtual tours, so they can get a feel for what the layout is, because the still pictures do not give you that perspective at all. So a lot of buyers want to tour the home in their fuzzy bunny slippers. There are quite a few buyers that buy homes or become determined to buy a home sight unseen. They may have a friend or whatever go look at it. That's why professional photography and all that's critical. Also, how you present the home online with imagery, get the bird's eye view, the drone imagery, that sort of thing. But let's say the house is not pretty, okay? If the house is not pretty, it's okay to even make those pictures as pretty as you can, but there has to be a price for that, right? There has to be a price for a home that is pretty. But if you overprice a home that is pretty and has something special like views, buyers are going to turn their nose up at it. I just sold a home recently up in North County where basically they priced it according to similar sales that did not have views. Now they have spectacular views. We went on the market, had a huge crowd at the open house, had a bidding war, and it sold for $25,000 over asking price. The other thing that's very, very important is you don't have to show every little nook and cranny in the house. Leave something for a little bit of a surprise. Same thing on the inspection. Leave something for the inspector to fix, just to give them a reason to justify their job. But you want to make sure whatever's online is attracting the buyer, not repelling the buyer. And the most important factor by far, if the market is softening and your home is not selling, and it's marketed right, it's absolutely price. It doesn't take a whole lot to adjust the price to actually create a bidding war. And I've done that before. I had a home up in Monument a year or so ago, and it was an older 80s time warp. It had the mauve carpet, the whole thing. And so they asked me, what should I do? I said, well, I would make the flooring neutral, clear it out, we'll virtually stage it. We did all that. And they said, should we remodel the kitchen? I said, no, it's going to cost too much money. And then when you go up in price to overcome that, you won't be able to top the high-end new custom homes down the street. So they just priced it right. They priced it under $900,000. We had 85 people at the 1-hour open house, and it sold for $75,000 over asking price. That's all about marketing and positioning, both with marketing and with price. So if you are thinking of making a move, we help our clients do that every day. Give us a call at 719-301-3900. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. She is your real estate voice and the host of the program and the proprietor and owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. If you're thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900. You can text her there as well or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. Short break. When we come back, we'll be talking about will the NAR lawsuits end 6% commissions plus Barb's hot new listings. So you missed this. It was probably the funniest thing that David has ever said to me. So when you said the average person has an attention span of 8 seconds, we smiled at each other and I pointed at myself and I held up my fingers like 6, like my attention span is 6. And he suggested that when you said the average person has an attention span of 8 seconds, I should have said, I'm sorry, what did you say? I lost you a couple seconds ago.
For sure. It's
Oh my
true
God.
though. It's gotten worse and worse and worse.
I believe it. I mean, you know what? And I'll tell you what, for a while, I thought, oh, it's just these young people and whatnot. No, it's the damn cell phone forces you to do that. And I used to never, you know how they have stories on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, and they're just real short. I never used to click on those things. I find myself clicking on those. And the problem is it does shorten your attention span down to like 20 seconds at maximum. It's
It's
all right.
terrible.
I just wanted, he was very funny about that. I was cracking up for a long time on that.
Wait, what?
I think what he said this morning, the average person is 8 seconds and like a guinea pig is 7 or something.
Oh my God. I hate to say it, but I'm ADD and I didn't really I think I told you that before. I didn't realize it until like 10 years ago. I'm working on a movie and the person who is the producer and then the editor and I was the director, we're all there editing. And after a while, I saw the guy who's editing. He's every time we said, well, let's do this or this, he was writing it down. And I'm like, why do you write everything down? He goes, well, I'm ADD. And if I don't, I'm going to probably forget it. And the producer, God bless her, she goes, you ought to be writing some things down there too. You're ADD. And I'm like, I'm what? I went through most of my life and I absolutely am ADD. I had no idea until then. Oh yeah, I guess that's kind of me too.
I don't know, Richard. You're probably, I think you have more than 12 minutes on you, though. I will say that because there are times when I'm talking and I'll go off script and I'll say something and I'll ask you a question and you're right with me.
Well, I like that. Actually, I like the little interactions there. And I think for a while, I got so locked into the script that it just almost sounded like we were doing a show from a script. And I remember when I first got into radio, they had me do a show with a couple of other women, actually one of the women that produced the film. And I came in to do their show. It's just a little Saturday show. And I swear to God, they had little 3x5 index cards that had everything they were going to say during the show. And they never, ever deviated from anything. And I'm like, wow. And so I think I kind of fell into that trap where instead of just changing things up a little bit or whatever, and you do a great job of that. You always have, great energy. And I don't know, I'm proud of you. Let's put it that way. Okay, let me get a new clock.
I mean, I try not to, these topics are the same, regurgitated with different titles many times.
They are, but again, I think so many people are, driving around, etc. We could interject since I can't see or listen even to a newscast on our station without Return to Nature's funeral home. We could, of course, try to bring that in. It seems like doesn't it feel like that is like a daily thing where is it that interesting? I mean, I had a neighbor who's out there and it kind of creeps me out to think about it, but
they just finished wiping out all of the garbage that was just there.
Hazmat kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
And this guy he's a World War II veteran. He was on the USS Lexington. My God, he was the nicest guy in the world. I remember going over and last day he was alive, talking to him, holding his hand and stuff. And then to think that, and that was a couple of years ago, to think that since then he's been laying out there just molding or something just
Pile of
pisses me
bodies.
off. Yeah. I mean, he's got the
Sick.
nicest wife in the world. You know, I'm tempted to call her up and give her condolences, but it just feels like I just be reinforcing the fact that it's just so offensive.
Yeah.
All right. Let's
All right.
I understand businesses get behind. I mean, everybody does that. When I was a lawyer, we had such a heavy caseload. It was so easy to get behind. But that's why you take work home with you and you do it on the train, you do it in the evening, you work at home on the weekends. That's you. I mean, if you didn't do all that stuff, you'd be behind too, but you're at least not leaving moldy bodies around behind you.
I think the part of the problem, and very few people are actually talking about this,
Yeah.
is they got a bad reputation with a lot of the crematoriums, so they weren't even able to work with
Wow.
some of them, and so
Because they weren't paying their bills or something.
that was part of it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, if people have no place to take this body and have it cremated and returned to nature or whatever, oh my gosh, that makes more sense now.
yeah. So they bit off more than they could chew, yes,
Yeah.
but they set themselves up by the way they treated people and didn't pay
Yeah.
for bodies being cremated.
Wow.
So they set up their own.
That makes so much more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was sad.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to be pretty much completely off script on this one.
All right, I'll try to follow you. It's like we're dancing and I'll let you lead and I'll try to not step on your toes.
That was okay. It's okay for you to jump in there too. I mean, like,
On this, maybe dancing, you don't want to dance with me. I mean, I spent my whole life trying to dance this. Just a quick story. You're too young, but for a while, when I was in college and in a fraternity, if you wanted to meet girls and guys want to go to where the girls are in discos. Okay. So you can't just wear jeans and a ball cap or boots and a cowboy hat or something to a disco. I actually owned not the big high platform shoes, but kind of the bigger shoe.
funky.
And then the stupid, what is that stuff? Polyester the shirts were made out of. Oh my God.
Leisure suits.
Yes, it was so embarrassing. And I got rid of every photograph like that. I found the last polyester shirt photograph. I got rid of it. I went all the way back. I had a photo of me in a headband, got rid of that damn thing too. I love to go back and edit your life, and nobody will ever know. Or if they do know, I'm just going to say, look, I was in college. I wanted to meet women. You go to discos to meet women. So there you are.
When I do
Jeez, you can't. I mean,
when I do the show prep, I go to Xfinity has the music channels.
Right.
The channel I like is Yacht Rock.
Oh, and I do too. I mean, I don't know
Mellow.
the channel, but I like that music a lot.
So if you look at the pictures of these guys, first of all, they were pretty good musicians for their age. They look
Yes.
like in their early 20s, and the hair and it's funny to watch them. It's like, God,
they just
I
had.
wish they didn't have those pictures now.
I know, right? So Foreigner was just voted into the Hall of Fame. And I never liked any of those bands. I didn't like Boston. I didn't like Styx. I didn't like Journey. I didn't like Foreigner, all that quote unquote corporate rock. And my daughter a couple of years ago said, Dad, have you listened to this or this or this? So I checked some things out. I'm a big Eagles fan. So one morning they had Don Felder of the Eagles on Fox's morning show, and they had the guys from Foreigner there. And then they had one of the guys from Styx there. And I'm like, wait a minute, these guys are all good. So I gave Foreigner a chance and I gave Styx a chance, and they're both really good. But Foreigner just got voted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and they have a new lead singer who, some people fall in love with this lead singer. Nobody can ever replace him. I think this guy is better than the original lead singer they had. He sings every bit as good. He looks much better, has a much better stage presence and stuff like that. And then I went back and looked at it. The song is Urgent. It's a really good song.
Oh,
I
yeah.
went back and looked at the original video from it, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, first of all, the video was nothing more than they set up their equipment in a room. And it was obvious they didn't have the guitar plugged into the amplifiers or anything like that. And they're just, voicing to the track or whatever. I'll send you a link to a live version of them doing Urgent recently. And it's funny because the guitar player, who's, I guess he's got the right to the name of the band and everything now, he was probably 25 in the video, and he just looked like some, guy from the 80s or whatever, long hair, just blended in like everybody else. And now I'm looking at him, and this guy's probably 55, maybe even 60 years old. He looks better now than he did back then. I'm like, I don't know how you do that, but if you do figure it out, send me some notes on that, whatever. All right. I'm sorry.
We got to, a couple years back, I went to a conference. So sometimes these big corporate conferences will bring in bands to play.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a lot of people there. So it was after the meltdown. It was a conference for bank-owned homes, but I was kind of late to the party listing bank-owned homes. I still am. And so this was kind of after the surge, the initial surge that took place, where the first one I went to was like a total real estate meat market. I mean, these agents were such hoes. They were literally like passing their business card under the stalls in the bathrooms and just chasing around anybody that thought they were what they call an asset manager, which is somebody that gives assignments to agents for listings. It was, I was pretty overwhelmed just at watching all this. But anyway, a couple years later, the volume retreated, and they had Cheap Trick as their featured band. And there were only maybe 300 people there as far as the audience. And I'm like, I was so thrilled. It was amazing. I mean, they came out and they were throwing out picks, and some of my friends are getting up on the stage and singing with them.
Oh my gosh. But, and for a while, because I heard about them doing that, and for a while I'm like, well, they can't be getting top flight bands to do that. They have to have like third or fourth tier bands that maybe did like one song or something like that. And then there was a group called World Class Rockers, and they had Randy Meisner from the Eagles. They had one guy from Steppenwolf. They had another guy from Paul McCartney and Wings. And everybody individually who was up on stage was kind of a big deal, but they were, didn't play in the same band. But what you got the greatest hits from about 5 different bands. Yeah. So, if they had Slash up there, you'd get like maybe 3 songs from Guns N' Roses, but you'd have a different singer or whatever. Gosh, Slash plays with everybody. Have you ever looked on YouTube?
We're going to see him again in July. He's doing like a blues thing this summer.
You know what? I was never a big Guns N' Roses. Because of my son, I like Guns N' Roses more because my younger son discovered them before I did. But I will say Slash just kind of reinvents himself over and over and over. And no matter what he does, it's good.
I think he had a drinking or a drug problem years ago, but
no,
he overcame it. Yeah, I don't think he does drugs anymore, or drinks. And like, even we went to see him in Minnesota, and it was like a gambling casino where they played. So some of the band members actually came out to gamble after the show. And so my son and his friends saw one of the band members. They said, "Where's Slash?" And they're like, "He's in his room practicing." This was after the show. I mean, he's just such a perfectionist,
Yeah.
Amazing. He doesn't think he's good enough, which is incredible.
Jeff Beck was the same way. I mean, people would say they go over to his house or whatever. You didn't catch him watching TV or reading a book or everything. He just always had a guitar in his hands and was trying to get better.
Yeah. It's hard. I can't even play one chord.
You know what? I used to think this is so pathetic. So I play guitar. I wrote songs and stuff. And I'm okay. I'm not really, really good. But I thought if I just left the guitar sitting there and I had to walk past it every day, I would at least pick it up for 5 minutes and get, a little bit marginally better. It's got dust on it. I just walk past it every day because I don't take time. I should say on me. All right. I got 4.
Okay, this
Wow.
one's gonna be a little bit of a wild card, so forgive me. Don't even worry about the script.
Okay. Well, we'll wing it. You know what you're doing. I'll just follow your lead and we'll do it in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. She is your real estate voice and the host of the program as well. And this is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate, your biggest investment in most cases. And you do it with Barb Schlinker, the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, we're hearing a lot in the news about this National Association of Realtors lawsuit settlement for price fixing, antitrust violations. Geez, it gets complicated for the average person. How is that going to affect the real estate commissions going forward?
Well, I think, people that are buying and selling homes don't pay a lot of attention to it necessarily until they have to buy or sell a home, and that's part of the expense of buying and selling. So the whole idea behind this whole commission splitting thing came about in order to leverage not just one agent's buyers, but everybody's buyers so that the seller would get the most money at the end of the day. But the problem is the way they set up the listing service, which is basically the amount that's offered to the agent that brings the buyer, that's published in the agent side of the multiple listing service, and now it's published online for everybody to see, is that there were some companies, some of these big box brokerages that were telling their agents, hey, if you don't offer this much commission, other agents aren't going to show your home. They're not going to bring their buyers. But the technology kind of overtook that whole theory because the buyers are deciding what homes they want to see based on the presentation, the marketing, the pictures, and the price that they're seeing online. Buyers could care less what happens with the commission. They just want that house, right? And they don't know how the agent gets paid. So the way it was set up is only the listing agent negotiates a commission with the seller, and then some of that commission is split with the buyer agent that brings the buyer. The problem was when it was published in the MLS, it was absolutely 100% non-negotiable. I mean, if you offer 2.5%, if you don't pay 2.5%, they're going to take you to the woodshed and make you pay. And I had that experience very recently. I sold a home. And in the negotiations, the buyer raised their offer amount and asked for the seller to pay 10,000 of that money towards their loan closing cost. So if you calculate what the commission was on that, the commission on that 10,000 was about $700. So the seller says, well, I don't want to pay a commission just because the buyer has a cash problem. I don't think that's fair. And I said, I get what you're saying. I agree with you. I'm not going to charge you for that. So I went to the buyer's agent and said, hey, they don't want to pay your portion of the commission for this cash concession. And the answer I got was, if you don't pay it, I'm going to take you to arbitration. I'm going to make you pay it and you're going to lose. That is the way the whole system is set up. And unfortunately, he is right. That is the way it is. Whatever you offer in the system, 100% non-negotiable. Absolutely not. Doesn't matter what's in the contract. They can still take you to arbitration and you're going to lose. So that is price fixing at its finest. And the sellers, another problem the sellers had was, well, wait a minute, hold on. So this other agent brings a buyer. I hear them on my camera out front telling the buyer it's not worth that much. The next thing I know, I get an offer 40,000 below asking price. We finally negotiate the deal, and then that agent continues to ask for stuff. I want this. I want to know that on the inspection. I'm not closing unless I get this fixed. All these kind of things that took place. And it felt like the seller who's paying the agent that fee is paying them to work against them. That was the issue that caused these lawsuits to happen in the first place. It was almost like if somebody sued you, you're paying the other lawyer to sue you. That's exactly what was going on. And some of these home sellers just had enough. And that was the genesis of all these multiple lawsuits that were taking place all over the country. And the way they had to settle this up, basically the National Association of Realtors, who was one of the named persons in the lawsuit, had to settle out from $1.8 billion to be paid back to these sellers down to $418 million. And then they promised not to offer a commission in the MLS. So what does that mean? So the number one question I'm getting from home sellers is, so does that mean the commission's going to change? Does that mean I'm not paying a commission to the buyer's agent? What does that mean? And, I've talked to experts. I looked at a statement from a lawyer from UCLA law professor that said, I don't think it's going to change a whole lot, except that maybe the communication on how it gets paid is not going to be through the MLS. It's going to be through some other internet web portal, maybe the showing service, maybe some other link, maybe teaching the agent how to negotiate the fee. And then the other thing that's going to happen is the buyers are going to take a look at this and go, wait, hold on. So I'm grabbing some random agent that's not the listing agent, going in to look at this house. And now I got to stroke a check for 2%, which could be, whatever, $15,000 for what they do. Can't I do this myself? Can I go directly to the listing agent? Can I just not be represented? I think we're going to see a lot of that go on. And, there was a millennial that wrote an article probably about a year ago. It was a really good article, really good questions, where he said, what in the heck does a real estate agent do for me anyway? And can't I do that myself? Like, I can find the home without my own agent. I can write the offer without my own agent. I can get my own financing. I can go to the closing table. I can do what are they good for? So it's a very good question. And I think unless real estate agents learn how to articulate their value and the value that they bring to the table, this whole world is going to change. There's going to be a lot of people getting out of the business. I've talked to agents that are actually terrified because they haven't been trained on how to do the things that the customer thinks that they know how to do, which is to market, to learn the market, to understand if it's a good value, to negotiate, right? To handle objections, to provide great service, to get to the finish line, to find them the house. They don't know how to do any of these things, right? What they do is they get a buyer that reaches out to them through some online process, and they go meet them at the house, open a door, and go, oh my God, this buyer wants a house. Cool. I'm going to write an offer and make $10,000 to $20,000. Easy button, ding. That's what they've been doing. And I just put a house on the market, Richard. It is a fixer-upper. It's been almost completely gutted. I've been talking about it the whole show. It was taken back in foreclosure. I took the time to do videos to explain to the agent about how you make an offer on this kind of property, because it is very different. I make sure I update everywhere I can communicate with them through the systems about this property and about how they make an offer. But do you think the agents take the time to even look at it?
Unfortunately, I'm getting the feeling that the answer is no. I don't know if it's a generational thing, or it's just people are overwhelmed, or they expect to make easy money. I mean, you work hard to represent your clients.
I do, and they expect me to answer questions, and I don't mind answering questions. But if this person that's licensed, that has access to the same data that I have, and that can read the inside scoop that I have posted in the MLS and showing instructions, and they aren't doing it, it's really frustrating. So this particular home was priced 40% below the repaired value. That's enough room for an investor to get in there, fix it up, sell it, and make a decent profit. That's a really good deal. And of course, there's going to be a lot of buyers interested in a property like that, especially fix and flips people, or maybe people that just have their own skills to do that kind of work, right? So some of the questions I got from agents, one of them was, oh, can you send me some similar sales so I can figure out what it's really worth? And I'm like, oh my God, really? You're supposed to be the expert and you're asking me to do your job. Would you like me to write the offer for you too? You know, I had another agent called me real estate emergency on a Sunday. This is after it's been on the market for almost a week, and go, do you have any other offers on this home? And I'm like, yes, I do. I have 25. Have you read what's the one little paragraph that's in the MLS or the one little paragraph that's on your phone when you set the showing? And the answer was, no, I just didn't have time. So seriously, she wants to open a door, have her buyer say yes, and get paid $9,000 and have to do absolutely nothing. That is why the people that don't take the time to educate themselves to provide really good value in this industry, they are going to go away. That's what I predict. I think in the next couple of months, we're going to see a big drain of people that just don't know how to articulate value within the system, and they're not going to do well. And it's all on them. I mean, I took the time to learn stuff. I took the time to look at similar sales to figure out value. You have to do that because the buyers expect you to know that. And so I think going forward, what's going to happen are a lot of changes. I think that there could be pressure on commissions, or maybe not. Maybe they'll just find another way to negotiate it, but it's going to be exciting either way. And so if you are thinking of making a move and you want to talk to somebody that has expertise on how to do all the things that you get top dollar, pricing, promotion, preparation, all those things, give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
Now, Barb, Richard got lost on his. Are we so far? Wait, let me look at my
We
clock.
just go to hot new listings.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah.
I was a little bit behind. 3, 2, 1. Barb is the only agent that I would recommend when you're thinking of making a move. You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Barb, you've got these homes. You guarantee the sale. Tell us about these hot new listings.
Absolutely. So I have a stunning property up on Boulder Lane and Woodmore Mountain on Larkspur at 129.9. Beautiful townhome with 2 master suites at 354 on Riley Grove. Spectacular home out on 35 acres on Powers Road in the 370s. A gorgeous townhome in Briargate at 320 would be a fabulous rental. I have a beautiful home out on McClellan Road. This home is at 459 on 40 acres with a 4-car attached garage and lots of room for your 4-legged family members. We also have one coming up this week on Soapweed Road, also on 40 acres with a barn in Calhan. And then we have a spectacular townhome on Wind River Point. If you want easy living, basically move-in ready, this beautiful, spectacular, like new home priced at $529.9 is on the market, and this is a hot new listing. We also have a gorgeous remodel home on Snowbird Drive in the mid-5s, a great home right next to UCCS. This would be a perfect rental property, just lowered the price to $434,999. An amazing 2-story close to the Air Force Academy on Allegiance Drive at $629. And then we have 2 great properties in Peyton on 5 acres. One of them has solar, multiple barns, fencing, cross fencing at $719. And the other one on 5 acres has multiple barns, beautiful fresh carpet, move-in ready in the low 7s, and an amazing home on Star Ranch Road in the Broadmoor. Plus, we have a handyman special coming up down in Fountain, priced $300,000 below market, as well as a beautiful starter home on Water Dipper coming up, and another great home on Chalet Lane out there in the Black Forest with an RV garage. So if you want to find out about those, go to barbhasthebuyers.com or give us a call at 719-301-3900. Richard?
You've been listening to Your Real Estate Voice. It airs every Saturday right after Cudlow, 11 o'clock here on 740 KVOR. And if you're thinking of making a move, just call Barb at 719-301-3900. You can text her as well, or visit barbhasthebuyers.com or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. And you can see replays of the show on Barb's YouTube channel, Barb Has the Buyers, or listen, of course, to the podcast on all of the popular platforms, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, many, many others. Thanks for listening this weekend. And to reach out to Barb again, just call 719-301-3900. Barb, you have a great week. Great talking with you.
Thank you. Have a great weekend.
There you go.
Was I passionate enough about that?
You are. I mean, that's what I guess. I mean, that you
No,
are.
I think she has to work on it.
Yeah. Yeah. You need to work on being passionate about it. Yeah. It's just,
I don't have time. I'm like, what?
oh my God. I mean,
I don't have time to make money. I really
I don't have
don't.
time to make $9,000. I'm like,
I
I'd
feel like
find
I
some
should
time to make
say,
$9,000.
why don't you just write me the check? You know,
I would find time. I would find, yeah. Why don't you do everything on this, but just shoot me a check?
just write me a check.
All right. So what do we got here? Real estate market heats up or not? How long to sell your home? How to sell in a softening market, or the NRA thing? I think the NRA thing is a little bit complicated. The softening market sounds negative, so I would go with one of the top two. That's just my thought.
How long does it take to sell?
Okay. I take the headphones off. 3, 2, 1. Your real estate voice with Barb Schlinker, owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, airs every Saturday from 11 until noon, right after Cudlow, here on 740 KVOR. This weekend, Barb's talking about how long it takes to sell your Colorado home.
Okay. We did it.
Does that work?
Yeah.
I'm
It's
sorry, I
good.
got distracted there for a second on one of my monitors here. Okay. Well, our business here is conducted. I got some emails here. It looks like 7 scripts for other things that need to be cut. I don't think I'm gonna have
Yeah.
time to cut those today, but I'll get them cut tomorrow and taken care of.
Let me look at those first.
Okay.
I
You
don't
want me
like
to
the way
send
they're
you-
writing. I don't like what they're saying. It's not my ads. So
You know what? Yeah, okay. I mean, I honestly think it is I'm not saying anything negative about Brandon or any of those people at all, but I do have to say that there's a knack to writing for somebody other than yourself. And it takes a while to get used to how that person phrases things, what they say, and how they go about it. So I think it really needs to reflect exactly what you would prefer. So I'll hold off on that. I'll just remind
yeah,
myself
I'll
to check
look at
tomorrow.
them. I know it's my homework. That's probably why he called me this morning. I didn't return his call, but
Oh, that's okay. I didn't even know I thought he had moved. I thought there was somebody new on the account or whatever. I get so confused here. I've been off the past couple of days. So, all right. I'll keep